I'm going to talk about mainly treatments focused on the body. Because in my opinion, I think that people are more than their body. I think we are our minds, too, and we are our spirits, our souls, our feelings, body, mind, spirit. I think those are three ways you can look at it. But I'm just going to really focus on more the body today because we could really have a whole lecture and a weekend spending and talking about the other aspects. And I think a lot of people, a lot of speakers are going to be talking about some of the other things much better than I can. So the type of treatment that I do is a needling treatment. And needling goes back to ancient China and has its roots in acupuncture. And acupuncture came to the West around the 16th century, but really hasn't become popularized until probably this century. And now people can talk about acupuncture and have an idea what it is. But the interesting thing is, Dr. Walter B. Cannon, who is a Western-trained physician, who, by the way, spent many, many years in China, was able to integrate these ideas, and he realized something. He realized that, and I know those are a whole lot of words, but basically what he's trying to say is that when a nerve becomes damaged, something happens. Now that seems very simple, but he took it a step further and described what really does happen. And what he described is that you have to understand that nerves travel in our body like branches, okay, and they wind up going somewhere, usually muscles and internal organs. So he discovered that when you damage a nerve, that destination organ, let's use the example for muscle, will react. It'll become overreactive and supersensitive. And if the nerves go to the stomach, are affected, then the stomach can become very irritable and so on and so forth. So here, just a quick anatomy lesson, you can see how the nerves come down like a trunk and they branch off like branches from a tree. And that's a little closer view. Now, of course, doctors and lawyers have a lot in common because we like to call simple things with big names. So the medical term for nerve injury is radiculopathy. And all that really means is as the nerves come out of the spine, they are more likely to be damaged. And that's a pretty simple idea because if you think about it, when we were kids, how many of you, like me, like to climb trees? Or was I the only tree climber here? Okay, there we go. We're all being honest here. So, you know, it's very simple. It's just a simple law of mechanics because if your kid or if you were hanging on the tree, where is that branch most likely going to break? Where it comes off the trunk. It's pretty simple. But there are other things in the way. Now, this is the nerve coming out of the spine, and this is a side view. So this would be the back, and this would be the front. And as you see, this hole is not very big. Plus, we have this big thing right in front of it called the disc, and we have the bones on top and on the bottom. So the nerves are almost set up to be damaged because of all these structures around it. And that's one of the reasons why it's so common for those things to get damaged. And if you think about it, statistics show that one of the most common reasons to see your family doctor is pain, low back pain, neck pain, because that's where the nerves come right out. So, and when there is nerve injury, there's lots of irritating chemicals that can be released, inflammation and whatnot. So what causes it? Basically, two things, degeneration and the degenerative process. What does that mean? Degeneration is when we're young, all the bones and all the discs and everything are very flexible, right? But what happens when we get older? We shrink, right? Everything shrinks, and those spaces get smaller and smaller, and things get compressed, and things wear out. And that process of degeneration is called pre-spondylosis, for those of you taking notes. But the problem with the way that the traditional Western systems are is that, you know, we've all heard an ounce of prevention is a pound of cure. And it's true, a lot of the degeneration that goes on is preventable. But when you don't practice good prevention, this is what winds up happening. Everything just falls apart. And there's many, many statistics that bear that out, especially in the pain realm. So See, when we're born, this is time, and that's health. We have 100% health, for the most part, okay? But what happens? Oh, you know what? When we were 10 years old, we fall off the tree, and we sprain our back. Then we forget about it. Then, we start playing sports in high school, and, you wake up with that kink in the neck, but all this time, you don't have any symptoms. And then what happens? And then something happens, and doc, you know what? I was just gardening, and my back went out. I don't understand why. Every time I've interviewed patients, I've always found basically many, many additive events throughout the person's life. And it's almost like by the end, they're like, no, most of the time they say, wow, I'm not so bad. I should have been hurting many, many years ago, because we have the ability to compensate. But the problem is, when you don't address these issues, health goes down. And eventually goes way down, 6 feet down.